Hello again. This is Ray Lapuz for m200 at Cañada College, the online course. We are in our third video for the video orientation. And in this video, we will take a look at my stat lab. Here we are at our Canvas homepage. I'm going to click on modules. And then the second module that comes up is a module set for Canvas. When you click on this the first time, any of those links, it'll ask you to continue to a new window and will ask you to agree to some licensing agreement. And so we just scroll down. And go ahead and accept the agreement. And then now we have access to my stat lab. So there's some, I clicked on the browser check, and you can just click on whatever it is that you need to worry about with the browsing that you need. And so we closed out of there, and let me go back to modules again. And now the next time you click on any of these, you're going to go directly, since you had already agreed to it, you will go directly to my stat lab. Let's take a look at the homework assignments or the all assignments. By clicking on this, it'll take you to the assignment page after you load another window. And when you get to the assignment page, you can ask for the chapters that you want. All right, let's quickly go back, and I had to refresh some assignments, but now let's go to all assignments. And when we load this to a new window, we can see some of the assignments that are now available. So you can see the assignments. There's 3 assignments for chapter 1 and 1 quiz, and then another 3 assignments for chapter 2, and then another quiz. And then you'll see this, the rest of this populate as we begin the semester. So for now, let's, I'm going to jump down to maybe homework 2.2 just to get us an idea of what the assignments might look like. I'll click on the first question. And you can see that some of these assignments look like they're multiple choice problems. And if I browse through, some of them require a little bit of work. See if I can make this a little bit larger. And you type in your answers, etc. All right. As you're doing the homework, what happens is that you can type in your answers, and it'll give you immediate feedback. It'll say if you're correct or not correct. And so in this particular problem, we're asked for the class width, and the class width, as you'll see, when you start reading the book and going through the information, it's going to be the difference between the 2 upper and lower class limits, or 2 lower class limits, consecutive lower class limits or upper class limits. So 66.0 minus 64.0 looks like it's going to be 2.0. So if I change this answer to 2, it should give me instant feedback to say it's correct. And now we're going to put in the class midpoints, etc. The thing about this is that if you somehow get locked out or get closed down, like just shutting this down, whether it be by accident or you just need to hurry up and leave right away, you can always go back to this problem or to this assignment. So I went back to Canvas, went back to the modules, clicked on my stat lab assignments. And now I can see that I started working on it looks like this section 2.2. And I can see that I was working on question number 3, and I got part of it correct, but then there's still some parts missing. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to finish this off. We have the class midpoints, which is going to be, I'd say 64.45 maybe. And then I can continue on and then try to get this done. But in any case, if you get it correct the second time, it'll change this check/X mark into just a regular check mark, and it'll give you full credit. Now, for the homework assignments, you can do them as many times as you need to be able to get it correct. And you can stay on each problem and get it correct until you can stay on the problem and not move until you get it all correct. So one time somebody mentioned in an orientation that so you really should be able to get 100% in all of your assignments. And my answer to that is yes, you are. And you can get all 100% in the assignments, but you have to do it on time. And if you don't do it on time, then you start losing points. Okay, let's go back to our course or assignment list. It looks like we landed in the calendar here. I'm going to go ahead and close this and go back to our modules from Canvas. And go back to the assignments again and let you know that there are quizzes that are involved here. And the quizzes are going to be treated a little bit differently from the homework assignments. So in this quiz, you have, first of all, up to 3 attempts. For the homework assignments, you have really an infinite number of attempts for each problem. But for the quizzes, you'll have 3 attempts, and you have to make sure you complete the whole quiz before submitting it. And each submission will count as an attempt. And most of the problems, almost all the problems in the quiz will be multiple choice. And so notice that there is no way to check your answer to see if you got it correct. And so you just have to go on and then submit your quiz. It looks like I didn't quite finish. I'm going to submit it anyways. And then I won't get my feedback until I've submitted the quiz. Okay, so that's one of the big differences between the quiz and the homework assignment. Another difference between the quiz and the homework assignment is that for the quizzes, if you notice, you don't get for the quizzes, you don't get any help. And let's go back to the homework again. We probably should have discussed this already, but we can go back to a homework problem again. And for each problem in your homework, there is a question help. So help me solve this, a video that can show you somebody doing the homework, some animation that might help, a textbook link that lead you to the textbook, StatCrunch if you need it. This could be a way to help you do some calculations and some other stuff here that you can click on. Now there is an Ask My Instructor button here as well, but make sure that you've attempted this problem once or twice before you ask questions, because I'm just going to ask you what you've done. So if you click on this Ask My Instructor, you should let me know what you've done to try to do this homework assignment. There are other resources that you can get to try to do these homework assignments. One of them including homework help, and that is in Canvas. If we go back to Canvas in the modules again, you can scroll down to the section that you're working on, click on homework help, and then click on one of these tabs, either the TI-84 or the Google Sheets tabs. And then here it'll show you a particular problem that could be related to or might actually be the exact same problem that you're working on. Okay. I want to show you a few more things that are available in your stat lab. There's a study plan where you can practice working on things. So if you feel like the homework assignments are helping you out, but you've completed everything, you wanted to try other new things, you can go to the study plan. The StatCrunch leads you to the StatCrunch program. If you don't know how to use that, there's one of the links down here we'll get to help you use that. There's two versions of the book. Actually, they're the same version, but there's just two ways to view the book. One is an e-text, and the other one is an HTML. And the HTML ebook is more compliant with accessibility. So depending on what you feel like you can access, you can play around by clicking on these books to see which one might work better for you. Let's click on the tools for success here, because I told you about using StatCrunch. And if you want to use StatCrunch and feel like you need to get a jump on how to use StatCrunch, there are some links here that will allow you to do that. So in the terms of the categories, there's a review, there's applets, projects, and things like that that you can work on. There's some animated flowcharts. I think a lot of hypothesis testing is reliant on making decisions on what to do. So the flowcharts here might help. And here's your StatCrunch links. You can go to StatCrunch, and then you can view some video tutorials for StatCrunch. By clicking on this, you'll see a set of YouTube videos that will explain things, concepts, ideas, and how-tos for your StatCrunch. If you want to play around with the data sets available in the book, you can get them here directly, and then you can download it either in an Excel or a Google Sheets file or in StatCrunch. There's also a program called StatDisk. You can go to this online program that'll help you calculate things rather quickly, and some technology manuals that includes using Excel, using StatDisk, using StatCrunch, and using the calculator itself. There's also more video tutorials for Excel, Minitab, SPSS, and the graphing calculator. I'm not expecting us to dive into Minitab or SPSS, but some of the other links might be useful for you. And some more technology cards if you want a quick printout of some quick rules and things to use for the types of technology that you plan to use for the class. Okay. So those are, that's under Tools for Success. You can also click on Multimedia Library. The Multimedia Library allows you to search specific sections or chapters, and it allows you to search the kinds of multimedia that might be useful for you. So if you think the PowerPoint presentations are helpful, if you think a video would be helpful, and applets would be helpful, and let's say you're working on chapter 2, section 2.3, then you can click on find these types of media, and then it'll collect all the media that's associated with what you were looking for. All right, a few more things. In my stat lab, our tutoring service. Now there's a NetTutor tutoring service, there's a Pearson Tutor tutoring service, and of course our own Learning Center has a tutoring service. If you go to the Cañada College homepage and see if you can find a stats tutor. But all these are all available. The Pearson Tutor tutoring service is, well, you're paying for this whole Pearson account, access to the textbook and access to my stat lab. So if you feel like you want to go ahead and use that, go ahead. Now there's a grade book here, but remember the grade book that we're going to be using for the class is under the grades in Canvas. This grade book I decided to leave here in case you wanted to review some old homework that you've done, or homework or quizzes that you've done. This is a way to access them. But remember that this is not going to be reflective of your actual grade. This is just the grades that they've accumulated for my stat lab, and that only accounts for homework and quizzes. And you'll see later the tests will be here as well, or at least half of the test. So your test will come in two parts. One of them is my stat lab, and the other one will be online proctored. Okay, we can, we'll talk a little bit more about that in one of the announcements and in the pages as we get closer and closer to a test situation. Okay, so that is really the breakdown for the My Stat Lab environment. And I encourage you to browse through and explore through all these links and see what works for you. And once you find something that's kind of along the lines of how you think and how you study as a student, then take advantage of that. But also try to take a look at other things that might be useful to see if it'll eventually help. All right, that is the end of our orientation. Good luck with this class, and I'll see you online.